What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Shipkey Shear podcast. We're here to talk about people, politics, and popular culture. I'm your host, Austin Cree. We are back on the road again. And my friends, I'll actually just cross the border into Arizona. I'm still driving. My friends, I haven't talked much about politics today because it just hasn't really crossed my mind, so I didn't really talk much about it. But as I'm just looking at the open road, my mind was wandering to politics. I was listening to some other people's shows a little bit, which I don't usually do. I try not to consume too much of other people's content where I can avoid it, just because I don't want to sound like I'm copying anybody. The whole thing is really annoying. But I gotta just speak my mind on this, because not enough people do this in the media. So much of what you hear is so synthetic. It's so thought out, it's scripted, and you can see right through it. It's like processed food, where it tastes good, but then it leaves you not feeling full and not satisfied. And I'm not in the business of leaving people unsatisfied. So what I'm going to do for you today, well, my friends, I'm thinking on the road, and I'm thinking to myself, how does Joe Biden and the Democrat machine, how do they get away with all the illegal aliens coming across the border? How do they get away with stirring up such hatred amongst different races in the country? How do they get away with the fact that Joe Biden's basically just like a living sock puppet, barely clinging on to his sanity? I wish him the best. I really hope that he goes on to an old age home where he can get the help he obviously needs. But how do they get away with this? Where are the damn Republicans? Where are the Republicans? I guarantee you, in between, trying to set up Trump or Chris Christie talking about how, whether you agree with the charges or not, we should agree that his conduct is not good for the party. How do we get away? How do they get away with this crap? How do we get away with, in my opinion, and anyone who's looked at this, who's looking, actually, you know what, now that I'm thinking about it, is it even possible to have a really objective opinion when you talk about Donald Trump? Like, is it actually possible, now that I'm thinking about it? He's such a polarizing figure that no matter what side you're on, your mind is almost immediately made up as soon as you hear the story. You're either for it or against it. And I try my darndest to not do that. I supported him in 2016, even though I wasn't old enough to vote at the time. I loved him. In 2020, when I was old enough to vote, I voted for him. And so the trolls want to go out and say, "Ooh, you're a Trump supporter." Yes, I was. And I still like Trump, despite all of the, in my opinion, completely fake and charges against him that are very politically orientated. I mean, how does Joe Biden get away with all the corruption that he and his family are in? And yet, if Donald Trump even sneezes the wrong way, they say he's polluting the air, should go to prison. I mean, you can't make this crap up. You literally can't. And yet, we're basically in a third world banana republic where the people in power attack their political opponents to stay in power. You can't make this stuff up. But how do we get to this point? How do they get away with it? How do we allow them to get away with this? Because it's supposed to be a nation of the people, by the people, and for the people, right? But when was the last time you, the people, actually felt represented instead of having to be entertained by the political circus that passes for a two-party system? It's not really even a two-party system when you think about it. Because the two-party system means this one party supports and this is the other party. When in fact it's really an oligarchy, because all the people at the top are all friends. They all go to the same galas, they go to the same concerts, they go to the same events, they shake hands, they pat backs, they do all this stuff together while laughing at you, and then they go on stage and pretend like they hate each other when in fact they don't. But how do they get away with this? How does the average person not see through this? I'm not a genius, and yet I see through this scam. I see through the lies. Look, I'm not going to get up here and be like Rush Limbaugh, God rest his soul, or like Sean Hannity, or like Mark Levin, and talk about how all the Republicans are good. Just vote for the Republicans and everything's going to be great. I'm not going to tell you that because there are some Republicans who are great. There are some Republicans who are doing good things. But we couldn't have gotten to this point in this era, in this country we're living in, if they were clean as the driven snow and were the side of good. This isn't a Star Wars movie, my friends, where it's the Sith battling the Jedi. There is no Sith, there is no Jedi. There's just gray with lesser gray or darker gray. That's the world we're living in today. We have the Communist Party USA, which is masking itself as the Democrat Party. And then we have the Democrat Party of 30 years ago, which is now the modern-day Republican Party. Everyone's moving to the left, with the Republicans moving more to the center, with slightly left-leaning tendencies, and then the left-wing are commies becoming so left-wing commies, it's ridiculous. You might as well have Karl Marx leading the party now, with his buddy Engels, with Frederick Engels as the secretary. You might as well have those two in the White House right now. How do we get to the point where the dollar has been devalued by like 98%? How do we get to that point? How is it in like 100 years the value of the dollar has fallen by like 96 to 98%? How? Well, look no farther than what people voted for. Whether it was the boomers, Gen X, the silent generation, the millennials, or people like me who are the older side of Gen Z who are starting to vote. Well, most of them were making TikToks about how, oh, I'm this gender today, and my son isn't really my son, he's my daughter. And then look at that's how we've got to this point. Because people care more about the pebble in their shoe than they care about the mammoth, the giant titan who's throwing boulders at them from Washington, D.C. That's how we've gotten to this point. And I challenge anybody who happens to listen to this. I guarantee you most people turned the dang show off because they couldn't handle it, or they thought I was just some ranting guy who knows nothing, when in fact I guarantee you I'm more educated than they are, as my major is dedicated to this, and it's frankly my hobby to learn about the world. And I can't control myself when I learn more about it. I can't keep it to myself. That's why I do this show. I cannot keep to myself the levels of outrage that I have towards the average American who's let this happen, and how they have voted these people into power. How do we have a person like Dianne Feinstein who literally just sits in Congress and just says aye? Well, they don't even have a position. They're just there to cast a tie-breaking vote when they don't even know what they're voting for. How do we have a guy like Mitch McConnell who's literally on stage freezing? He's literally he's glitching IRL, and people are like, get these dang boomers out of here. We need more younger politicians out here. This is ridiculous, and I can't take it anymore. How do we get to this point? How do they get away with this garbage? I don't understand it. It's unbelievable to me. It's unbelievable to me. My friends, I think I'll get off my soapbox now. I don't know how much more I can take of this garbage, frankly. Well, my friends, if I do start saying more again, I hope you look forward to it. God bless you. God bless your family. God bless America. I'm out of here. Peace.